Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Make a Game. This is Snackrificial Chamber, episode 24, and today I added another new track type and the ability to lock tile property values. Let's get started. Today's new track type is called a counter, which works similarly to the splitter, but more than one cargo object can be sent to a single direction before the direction is flipped. As always, I start by adding a new track type to the tile class and defining the valid rotations, output directions, and output type. I reused the splitter model just like I did with the grouper and replaced the base texture, then added a text component. The text displays how many cargo objects will be sent to the green side on the left, then the red side on the right before starting over. For the rest of the video, I'll be using several terms to reference the values and directions of the counter. Property A is the same as the green side or left side counts, and property B is the same as the red side or right side counts. Within the GameTile class, I added a few new fields so tiles can be properly reset if the level is ended early. First is the cargo count value. This value is specific to the new counter tile, but I included it here so I can use it when determining the next output direction. Next are the current value fields. These are used by the count ritual circle so I can display the remaining count without overriding the original value. Last is the initialize action value. This keeps a reference to the callback for the stop level topic. Each tile subscribes to this topic when it's enabled, and unsubscribes when it's disabled. In this top-level GameTile class, the callback simply resets the next output direction and cargo count to -1. The last addition to the GameTile class is the counter-specific logic within the getNextOutputDirection method. Just like the grouper, the output direction is reset on each call of the method, then the first output direction is found. If the cargo count plus 1 is greater than or equal to the sum of the left and right count values, the cargo count is reset to -1. The cargo count is then incremented. If the new cargo count is greater than or equal to the left side count, the second output direction is used. In order to properly update the counter's signals, I needed to create a new class. I created GameTileCounter, which is a child class of GameTileSignal. Within this new class, I overrode the update signal coroutine. If the desired value is false, nothing happens. If the cargo count is less than 0, not equal to the left side count, and not equal to the sum of the left side and right side counts, no signals are updated. Finally, if the cargo count is flipping the output direction, I turn off the signal for the original output direction and turn on the signal for the next direction. The last thing I added to this class is the property setting. If either property A or B are updated, this class updates the text on the counter prefab to display the left and right side counts. Here's the counter during gameplay. Each counter starts outputting to the green side. After the green side count is met, the red signal turns on, and the output direction is flipped. After the red side count is met, the green signal turns on, and the cycle starts over. This is another tile where the properties can be updated during gameplay, so I added references for a counter panel, counter property A button, and a counter property B button to the gameplay tile edit master class. I also added these lists to keep all references for buttons that modify property A and buttons that modify property B. I added the ability to lock each of the property values independently per tile, so when a tile is selected, I use these lists to quickly enable or disable all of the buttons in each list based on whether or not the appropriate property value is locked. This allows me to create puzzles where I can lock a tile's position and its properties, Or I can lock the position, but allow the player to modify the properties to complete a level. When a counter is selected, I show the counter panel and initialize the two property buttons. Unlike the buttons I use for the grouper, painter, and laser grid, which all use sprites and colors, these buttons use text to display the property value as numbers. Clicking either of these buttons cycles the value by incrementing the value to a max of 9, then resets back to 1 and updates the text each time. Here's the counter edit panel during gameplay. The first counter has both properties unlocked, so each of the values can be updated, and the new value is reflected in both the edit panel and on the selected tile. When one or both of the property values is locked on a tile, the button is disabled, and the color of the text or sprite on the button is muted and the value can no longer be cycled. That's all I have for this episode. I added the counter tile, which works like an advanced splitter, and allows multiple cargo objects to be sent in one direction before flipping. I also added functionality to lock property values, so the tiles cannot be changed during gameplay, and increase the difficulty of a level. If you liked this episode, you can subscribe to my channel on the left, or watch more of my videos on the right. If you have suggestions, you can leave a comment or reach out to me on Twitter. Thanks for watching!